Christmas may come once a year, but I try to hold on to that Christmas spirit all year long. And with this DIY, it definitely got me into the Christmas season. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Justina, and here I like to make, create, and inspire fun art things with you through my DIYs. And as you see by clicking on today's video, I have a brand new DIY for the Christmas season that is around 4 feet or 4.5 feet tall, and I'm super excited to share it with you. So let's just jump right into it and let's art today. To begin this DIY, I do have this wooden mailbox that I purchased at Ross. It is their Christmas mailbox here, and as you see, it was only $4.99. I believe I purchased this 2 Christmases ago, and I'm finally getting around to making it over. It is made out of wood, and I just think it is adorable. Now, you can find mailboxes at Dollar Tree. They aren't made out of wood, at least from my knowledge. They're made out of paper, and you can pretty much do the same thing using that, but I suggest trying to find something a little bit more sturdy. I believe you can find some of these at Michael's as well. Now, as you see here, my mailbox is covered in images, which is super adorable, but it is not really my style. I'm trying to just go for a simple look, so I will be covering all of these. However, you can use these images if you want to, but like I said, I'm going for something simple. Now, this mailbox is super cute because it has this latch side with some goodies in it, and on the other side, it has a little slot that you can slide in your letters. In this little bag, it comes with a bunch of little stuff to help decorate your mailbox. It does come with a couple of sticker sheets that does say Merry Christmas with some snowflakes. Also comes with these foam stickers as well. It's really hard to see, but this does say Santa, and it comes with ornaments. This one has a bunch of little doodads on it, and this one does say mail, some tree cutouts. It also came with some markers and this red glittery glue, and also some pom-poms and some diamond stickers that you can all add to your mailbox. Now, I didn't use any of these little craft kit things. I actually gave them to my children so that they can play with it, but you can definitely use it if you want to. The first step that I wanted to do was to remove our flag from our mailbox, which happens to be a candy cane. Now, there is a little nut in there, and I just had to twist it off. And to make this process go a little bit quicker, I just needed to grab a screwdriver, but I was lazy and I didn't do it, so I just kept twisting it with my finger, and finally it popped out. Now it is ready to be painted, and I'm using my Waverly chalk paint in the color Crimson Red, which is absolutely beautiful for Christmas. Now I started to paint it, and then I noticed that I could see some of those images coming through, and then I just figured I can add a couple layers on top and it will have good coverage. However, I noticed that by the time I got around on the other side of the mailbox, that maybe I needed to lay down a primer before adding my Waverly chalk paint. So I did continue painting this entire thing in red, but when I got to the front edges of my mailbox, I then switched to my Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White. This paint tends to be a little thicker, so it is a great primer to lay down first so that I can lay my red paint on top of it and we won't be able to see those images. I did have to give everything about 2 to 3 coats, and I did go back with that white chalk paint and I added it to the images in the center of my mailbox so that when I add another layer of red paint, I won't be able to see it. This DIY was a learning process for me throughout the whole thing. I do make a couple mistakes, but I did learn a lot so that next time if I do a similar DIY, I know what to do, and hopefully can give you some tips and tricks along the way so you don't make the same mistakes as I do. While my mailbox is drying, I am taking that same Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White, and I'm starting to paint my little candy cane here. I only had to give it one thick coat since this is my Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White, and then I started painting in the details. I am using my Waverly chalk paint in the color Crimson Red to fill in some of the candy cane stripes, making sure to fill in every other one. It is kind of hard to see where the exact location was since I covered those lines, but I managed to get them all filled in. After the candy cane stripes had time to dry a little bit, I started on painting the bow, and I'm going in with a really pastel green in my apple barrel acrylic paints. I do have to give it about 2 coats, and I try to get it as close as the image as possible, and then I let that dry. Then I will take a Posca paint marker in the color black, and then I will start outlining all of the little details. As you see here, I'm just outlining the little bow where the bow area was, and then I will go down the candy cane. I do add little stitchings here and there also just to give it more of a detailed look. I love doing this because it makes your project to pop, and it also gives it a nice cartoon look, which always makes the holiday season really fun. Now, going back to our mailbox, as you see here, it's really faint, but you can see those little stripe lines that was on the mailbox before. I let that show through so that it gives me a little grid of where those stripes are so that I could start filling them in using my Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White. I am going to fill in 2 at a time so that my candy cane stripe around my mailbox is a little thicker and there are less of them around the openings on each side. Once again, I was just trying to go for a more simple look because the images on the mailbox for me was just a little bit too busy. I did continue this for the other side of the mailbox. Now, once they had time to dry, once again, I am going in with a Posca paint marker in the color black, and I am outlining the lines just to give it more of a solid look, and I can cover up any mistakes that I've done. You don't always have to use a Posca paint marker if you do not want to do so or do not have one. You can always use a black acrylic paint and a paintbrush. However, since these lines were a little bit wonky because my paint job was a little off, the marker does tend to help me out. Now it's time to add our little flag back in, and all I needed to do was screw it back into the little hole. Once again, I did not get a screwdriver, which I should have because it would have made my life a little bit more easy, but nonetheless, I still got the job done. And then I added the little bolt on the inside to hold everything in place. Now, I wanted to add a little bit more sparkle to my mailbox, so I went in with my hot glue gun around that little slit in our mailbox, and I'm gonna add this chunky gold glitter to it. I really wanted this area to almost be inviting so that when we write our letters to Santa, we know exactly where to put it. I think this DIY is perfect for all ages, but especially the little ones. They can grab their own mailboxes and decorate it however they like, and then write their letters to Santa, and then they can deliver it into their mailboxes. I just think it's so adorable. As you see here, I'm just adding more hot glue to the long edges of our little mailbox opening here, adding more of that chunky glitter to it, and then continue to add one more line on the top and continue the process until everything was adhered down. I know a lot of people do not like glitter, but I think there's an exception to the rule because Christmas time is so magical that a little sparkle is so worth it around Christmas time. Here's how our mailbox looks thus far. I absolutely love it. Now you can always add more to it, like letters from Santa on the side of it if you want to, but I just really wanted to keep it simple. Now we have to work on the other parts of this mailbox, which is the stand. This is a flower pot that I purchased from Dollar Tree that I am repurposing. I used this for around Valentine's Day. I turned this flower pot into an ice cream cone. If you want to see that video, I'll be sure to link it here and in the description box below. But we are going to recreate it. First, I needed a pool noodle because this will be the actual stick that's holding up our mailbox or the surrounding of it. And I'm placing it in the center of our flower pot here. I took a Sharpie marker and started outlining our little area around the pool noodle so I know exactly where we need to remove. Now, there are plenty ways to remove that little circle, but I like to use a wood burning tool to cut my plastics. Since this flower pot is a little thicker, this is much easier for me to get through it. Now, if you're doing it exactly as I am, please use all of the protection that you need to do it. My window's open, my fans are going, I'm in a well-ventilated area, and I'm going slowly. I did speed up this video so that you can see how easy it was to cut through it. Then all I did was push that piece out of the center, and we have our hole that will hold our pool noodle nice and snug. I did place it back in to make sure it was the correct size, and it was. After I have it down, I did lay down a piece of scrap paper so that I can use my installation foam. This will act as a bed of snow that our mailbox is surrounded by. So I am shaking it up, and then I will add it to our flower pot. Now, this particular one I did purchase from Walmart. It's between $4 to $5 a can, which is kind of high, but still reasonable if you're just using one for a project. Now, you can find other ones in different locations, and with this particular one, it doesn't expand so much, which I kind of like and don't like. For this project, I do like because I didn't need it to expand so much, but if you're using it for other projects and you need a bigger expansion, I suggest going with a different brand. I am just going to continue adding it all over my flower pot until I have it to where I like it. Now, hello friends, I hope you're doing well, but if you happen to be new here and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope you do that today. All you have to do is click on that big red subscribe button down below. It is totally free, but don't forget to click on the bell notification so that YouTube can always notify you every time I upload a new video. Plus, we would love to have you here, part of our virtual art family, where we do a lot of DIYs with an artistic twist. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for being here and clicking on today's video. I really hope that you are enjoying today's video, and if you are, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. It really does help out my channel. Remember friends, I do have other socials. I have a Facebook, Instagram, a Buy Me a Coffee, and now a Patreon page. All of those links will be down in the description box below. If you're looking to become a member, that video will be linked down there as well. Now that I have all of the snow where I like it, I do take it outside because I want to give it 2 coats of Rust-Oleum spray paint in the color Flat White. This spray foam tends to discolor after a couple of days. It tends to turn a little bit of this orangey yellow, so you need to paint it if you don't want that to show. Like I said, I did give it 2 coats of paint and then brought it back inside, and this is how it looks so far. Now, I want to give it more of a snowy texture, and I do have some of this fake snow in my crafting stash that I've been trying to get rid of for so long because this is my first bag that I've been using for a couple years now, and I still have 4 other bags to go through, but I am happy to announce I did get through it on this one project. Now, to add my fake snow, as you see here, I'm just adding little beads of hot glue here and there, and then adding the snow right on top of it and pushing down. I did start out using my smaller hot glue gun, but then I realized it would take me forever, so I eventually switched out to my larger hot glue gun to get more coverage. Now, as you see here, I did pick it up and remove some of the excess, and then I will just continue adding more and more on. This is definitely trust the process because it's going to look crazy at first, but at the end, it is well worth it. This does take quite some time, so be patient. Here's how it looks with just a little bit of the section done, and this is how it looks when it is completely filled, and I just think it looks amazing. One thing about using hot glue, it does add some weight to the bottom of it, so it will hold that stick in place. If you have made it this far in the video, if you can put a snowman emoji down in the comments, then I know you guys are the real VIPs. As you see here, I'm taking a Sharpie marker and making a little circle in the center of our mailbox because we need to make a little cutout. I first go in with this 1-inch rounded, I guess it's just to make circles. I don't know what tools are called. I asked my spouse, they put this on there for me, and then I started drilling it into the mailbox. But then it stopped on me, and I'm not sure if that is supposed to happen or not supposed to happen. I'm not sure if I did it right or wrong. But then I just took it out and I switched it for a different drill bit, I guess. As you see here, I started with that 1 inch, and then I went in with this one, and I just started poking holes until I got an opening about this big. Now this did work in my favor because the stick I'm going to use is a broomstick from Dollar Tree that I just had on hand. Now the original hole that I was going to push through didn't fit, but this side fit because it is a smaller size, and all I needed to do was basically screw it into the hole. So that is what I'm doing here, and it held up nicely. Now you can always add some E6000 or some super glue to hold it into place for permanently, but I wanted this to be removable, so I did not. Now it's time to add everything together. Once again, we have our snowy base at the bottom, and I want to add this pool noodle right into it. All I did was add some ribbon around it. I did hot glue it into place. I'm pretty sure you've seen me wrap a pool noodle with some ribbon to make a candy cane stripe. I put that inside of our little snowy bottom, and then all we needed to do was slide the broom handle stick into the pool noodle. Now on the other side, it did have that cap on the end. I just removed that so that it fit nice and snug into our pool noodle, and as you see here, it slides all the way down. I absolutely think it's super adorable. Lastly, I just wanted to add a little bit more detail, so I made this little greenery bundle, and it's basically some of those twist ties that you purchase from Dollar Tree, and I'm just wrapping it around itself to actually kind of look like a little bow. I hot glue some more greenery on it with some berries, and then lastly I'm just tying it around the pole, and that completes this DIY. Here is how our Christmas mailbox turned out. I absolutely loved it. I can't believe how amazing it turned out. This thing is super tall. As you see here, it's right beside my door, and it goes above my door handle. It is around 4 to 4.5 feet. I absolutely love it, and it definitely makes a statement piece. I do want to say, if you are going to use something like this outside, you do want to weight it a little bit more underneath the flower pot, which I will probably do later on. I will probably add more foam and maybe some rocks under there just to give it a little bit more support. But nonetheless, I absolutely loved how it turned out and would love to know what you think about this DIY down in the comment section below. And since you're down there, if you happen to be new and you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you do that today. All you have to do is click on the big red subscribe button down below. It is totally free, but don't forget to click on the bell notification so that YouTube can always notify you every time I upload a new video. Plus, we would love to have you here, part of our virtual art family. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for being here and clicking on today's today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed today's DIY, but don't forget to do all of the YouTubey things down below, which is like, comment, and share it to at least one friend. It really does help out my channel. Remember, friends, I do have other socials. All of those links will be down in the description box below. I do want to give a big shout out to my Patreons, and if you are interested in becoming a member, that video will be linked down in the description box below. Alright friends, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I had a blast making this one, and I'm super excited to get on to the next one. So I will see you in the next one.